What if the key to sharper focus, better memory, and a clearer mind wasn't found in a supplement bottle, but in the natural foods that have been here all along? Long before modern nootropics, brain pills, and lab-made formulas, people relied on simple, natural foods to stay mentally sharp, alert, and strong. Foods that nourished not just the body, but the mind. Ingredients that supported memory, protected the brain, and helped people think clearly even without understanding the science behind it. And now, science is finally catching up, confirming that many of these natural foods contain powerful nutrients that support brain function, improve concentration, and may even help protect against mental decline. In this video, we're uncovering 15 natural foods for brain health foods that can help you stay focused, think sharper, and nourish your mind the way it was designed to. If you're interested in natural health, simple nutrition, and foods that truly make a difference, make sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and join us for more content like this. And as you watch, think about this. How many of these brain-boosting foods are already part of your daily life, and which ones are you missing? 1. Fatty fish. The deep nourishment that fuels the mind. There's a reason fatty fish has been valued for generations. Not just as food, but as something that truly strengthens the body from within. Fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, essential nutrients that the brain depends on every single day. In fact, a large portion of the brain itself is made up of fat, and these healthy fats help build and maintain brain cells, support communication between neurons, and keep the mind functioning clearly. In ancient times, fish wasn't eaten because people understood omega-3s. It was eaten because it sustained energy, sharpened thinking, and supported daily life. And now, modern research confirms what was already experienced: that diets rich in fatty fish are linked to better memory, improved focus, and even a reduced risk of cognitive decline over time. But what makes it even more powerful is how simple it is. Grilled, cooked over fire, paired with herbs or grains. It doesn't need to be complicated. Just real food, doing what it was designed to do. And maybe that's the reminder here, that sometimes supporting your mind doesn't require something artificial. Sometimes it starts with something as simple as fish. 2. Blueberries, the small fruit that protects and preserves. At first glance, blueberries don't seem like much. Small, soft, and easy to overlook, but inside them is something surprisingly powerful. Blueberries are packed with antioxidants, natural compounds that help protect the brain from oxidative stress. Over time, this kind of stress can damage brain cells, affect memory, and contribute to mental decline. But foods like blueberries help slow that process. They support communication between brain cells, help improve memory, and may even delay age-related changes in brain function. And what's fascinating is that this kind of nourishment comes in such a simple form. No processing, no complexity, just fruit, growing naturally. In many traditional diets, berries were valued not just for their sweetness, but for their ability to refresh and restore. And today, studies continue to show that regular consumption of berries, especially blueberries, is linked to better cognitive performance and sharper thinking. A handful a day, added to meals, eaten on their own. Simple, but effective. Because sometimes, the most powerful support for the brain comes in the smallest forms. 3. Turmeric, the golden root that awakens the mind. Turmeric stands out immediately, not just because of its deep golden color, but because of what it carries inside. For centuries, this root has been used in traditional practices as something that supports the body in profound ways. And now, it's gaining attention for something even more specific: its impact on the brain. Turmeric contains a compound called curcumin, known for its strong anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. And this matters because inflammation and oxidative stress are two of the biggest contributors to brain fog, memory issues, and long-term cognitive decline. Curcumin helps reduce that burden. It supports clearer thinking, improves mood, and may even help stimulate the growth of new brain cells. But what makes turmeric truly unique is that it doesn't overwhelm. It's often used in small amounts, mixed into food, blended into simple meals, and yet its effect builds over time. A pinch in a dish, a warm drink, a steady presence in daily life. And maybe that's the lesson here. That powerful change doesn't always come from something intense. Sometimes it comes from something steady, consistent, and deeply rooted in nature. 4. Broccoli, the green that strengthens and shields. Broccoli is one of those foods that often gets overlooked, seen as ordinary, simple, or even unexciting. But beneath that simplicity is something incredibly supportive for the brain. Broccoli is rich in compounds that help protect brain cells from damage. It contains antioxidants, vitamin K, and plant compounds that support cognitive function and help maintain sharpness over time. Vitamin K, in particular, plays a role in forming fats that are essential for brain cell structure. And when combined with the antioxidants found in broccoli, it becomes a powerful combination for protecting the mind. In many traditional diets, greens like broccoli weren't eaten for flavor alone. They were eaten because they strengthened the body and supported long-term health. And that includes the brain. Steamed, cooked lightly, paired with other whole foods. It doesn't need to be complicated. Because sometimes, the foods that seem the most ordinary are quietly doing the most important work. Protecting, strengthening, sustaining. And over time, that consistency makes all the difference. 5. Pumpkin seeds, the small seeds that sharpen and support. Pumpkin seeds may be small, but what they carry inside is anything but small. These seeds are packed with essential nutrients that the brain relies on: zinc, magnesium, iron, and healthy fats, each one playing a role in how the brain functions, communicates, and stays balanced. Zinc supports nerve signaling. Magnesium helps regulate mood and mental clarity. Iron is essential for delivering oxygen to the brain. Without it, focus and energy begin to drop. And when all of these come together, they create a powerful support system for the mind. In traditional settings, seeds were often consumed regularly, not in large amounts, but consistently. A handful here and there, added to meals, eaten as they were, and that consistency mattered. Because the brain doesn't just need occasional support, it needs steady nourishment. Pumpkin seeds offer exactly that. Simple, portable, natural, a small addition that can make a real difference over time. Because sometimes, strengthening the mind starts with the smallest things. 6. Dark chocolate, the rich indulgence that stimulates the mind. Dark chocolate is often seen as a treat, something to enjoy, not something to rely on. But in its pure form, it offers far more than sweetness. Dark chocolate, especially when it's high in cocoa, is rich in flavonoids, natural compounds that support brain function. These compounds help improve blood flow to the brain, delivering more oxygen and nutrients where they're needed most. And when the brain receives what it needs, focus sharpens, clarity improves, thinking becomes more fluid. There's also something else. Dark chocolate contains small amounts of caffeine and compounds that can gently boost mood, not in an overwhelming way, but in a subtle, steady lift. In older traditions, cacao was valued and even respected not just as food, but as something energizing and restorative. But the key here is balance, not overly processed, not loaded with sugar, just simple, rich chocolate in its closer to natural form. A small piece, taken slowly, because sometimes supporting the mind doesn't mean removing enjoyment. Sometimes it means choosing it wisely. 7. Nuts, the natural fuel that strengthens the brain. Nuts have always been seen as a source of strength. Small, dense, and deeply nourishing. And when it comes to the brain, they offer something incredibly valuable. Nuts, especially walnuts, are rich in healthy fats, antioxidants, and vitamin E. These nutrients work together to protect brain cells from damage, support memory, and help maintain cognitive function over time. Vitamin E, in particular, plays a key role in protecting the brain from oxidative stress, a process that slowly wears down mental sharpness. And the healthy fats found in nuts help support the very structure of the brain itself. In many traditional diets, nuts were carried, stored, and eaten regularly. They didn't spoil easily. They provided energy, and they supported both body and mind through long days of work and movement. A handful a day, eaten on their own, or added to meals. Simple, sustaining, effective, because sometimes what the brain needs most is consistency. And nuts offer exactly that. Steady, reliable nourishment that builds over time. 8. Oranges. The bright fruit that protects and refreshes. Oranges bring something refreshing, something light, vibrant, and full of life. But beyond their taste, they carry powerful support for the brain. Oranges are rich in vitamin C, an essential nutrient that helps protect brain cells from damage caused by free radicals. Over time, this kind of damage can affect memory, focus, and overall mental clarity, but vitamin C helps defend against that. It supports brain function, helps maintain sharp thinking, and contributes to long-term cognitive health. And what makes it even more powerful is how accessible it is. No preparation, no complexity, just fruit ready to be eaten. In traditional settings, fruits like oranges were valued not only for hydration, but for their ability to restore energy and refresh the body. And that includes the mind. A simple addition to your day, a natural source of protection. Because sometimes, keeping the mind sharp starts with something as simple as a piece of fruit. 9. Eggs. The complete food that fuels mental clarity. Eggs have long been considered one of the most complete foods. Simple, yet deeply nourishing. And when it comes to the brain, they play a powerful role. Eggs are rich in choline, a nutrient that the body uses to produce acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter involved in memory, learning, and mood. Without enough choline, the brain's ability to communicate begins to slow, but eggs help support that connection. They also contain B vitamins, which are essential for maintaining brain health and reducing mental fatigue. In many traditional diets, eggs were a staple, not because they were studied, but because they sustained energy, supported focus, and provided lasting nourishment. Boiled, cooked simply, eaten regularly, no complexity required. Because sometimes, the foods that offer the most are the ones that have always been there, quietly supporting, quietly strengthening, day after day. 10. Green tea. The gentle drink that calms and focuses. Green tea doesn't rush. It doesn't overwhelm. Instead, it works quietly. For centuries, green tea has been used as a daily drink, something that brings both calm and clarity at the same time. And that balance is what makes it so powerful for the brain. Green tea contains caffeine, but in smaller, gentler amounts compared to coffee. Enough to improve alertness, but not so much that it causes restlessness. It also contains L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes relaxation without making you sleepy. Together, these compounds create a unique effect: calm focus, clear thinking, steady attention, a mind that feels both relaxed and alert. It also carries antioxidants that help protect the brain over time, supporting long-term cognitive health. In traditional cultures, tea wasn't just consumed, it was experienced, slowly, intentionally, as part of a rhythm, and maybe that's part of its benefit. Because supporting the brain isn't always about stimulation. Sometimes it's about balance, and green tea offers exactly that. 11. Leafy greens. The daily nourishment that protects the mind. Leafy greens have always been there, growing quietly, often overlooked, yet deeply essential. Foods like spinach, kale, and other dark greens carry a combination of nutrients that the brain depends on: vitamins, minerals, and powerful plant compounds that work together to protect and sustain mental function. They are especially rich in vitamin K, folate, and antioxidants, all of which support brain cell health and help slow cognitive decline over time. Folate, in particular, plays a role in mental clarity and mood balance. And when levels are low, focus can weaken, and the mind can feel clouded. But with regular intake, the brain receives steady support. In traditional diets, greens were not optional. They were part of daily life. Harvested, cooked simply, eaten consistently, not for trends, but for strength. And that consistency made the difference. Because the brain doesn't just need occasional nourishment, it needs daily protection. Leafy greens provide that, quietly, naturally, effectively, and over time. That quiet support becomes something powerful. 12. Avocados. The creamy fruit that fuels blood, flow, and focus. Avocados stand out, rich, smooth, and satisfying in a way few foods are. But beneath that texture is something incredibly supportive for the brain. Avocados are loaded with healthy monounsaturated fats, fats that help support healthy blood flow throughout the body, including the brain. And when blood flow improves, so does oxygen delivery, so does nutrient supply, so does mental performance. They also contain potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure, another key factor in maintaining long-term brain health. In many ways, avocados support the systems that keep the brain functioning well, rather than forcing quick stimulation. In traditional settings, foods rich in natural fats were valued because they sustained energy over time. They didn't spike and crash. They provided stability, and that stability matters for the mind. Sliced, mashed, added to simple meals. No complexity, just nourishment that works in the background. Because sometimes the key to better focus isn't stimulation, it's support. 13. Beets, the root that enhances flow and mental clarity. Beets come from the ground, deep, rich, and full of color, and that color is a sign of something powerful. Beets are high in natural nitrates, compounds that help improve blood flow throughout the body, and when it comes to the brain, that increased flow can make a noticeable difference. Better circulation means more oxygen reaching brain cells, and with that comes improved focus, sharper thinking, and greater mental clarity. In earlier times, root vegetables like beets were valued for their ability to sustain and restore. They were grounding foods, supporting the body from the inside out. And now, we're beginning to understand why. Because the brain depends heavily on consistent oxygen and nutrient delivery. Without it, fatigue sets in, focus drops, and thinking slows. But with support, everything begins to sharpen again. Roasted, boiled, juiced, simple preparation. Powerful effect. Because sometimes, clearing the mind starts with improving what flows to it. 14. Olive oil, the ancient oil that supports and preserves. Olive oil has been used for thousands of years, not just as food, but as something deeply valued. And when it comes to the brain, it continues to prove its worth. Extra virgin olive oil is rich in healthy fats and antioxidants that help protect brain cells from damage. These compounds support communication between brain cells and may help reduce inflammation, one of the key factors linked to cognitive decline. In ancient cultures, olive oil wasn't refined or overprocessed. It was pressed, used fresh, integrated into daily meals, and that simplicity preserved its power. Today, it remains one of the most studied natural fats for brain health, often linked to better memory, improved learning, and long-term cognitive protection. Drizzled over food, used in cooking, paired with simple ingredients, no complexity required. Because sometimes, the most powerful support comes from what has always been trusted. Steady, natural, proven over time. 15. Whole grains, the steady energy that sustains the mind. The brain is always active, constantly working, constantly processing, and because of that, it needs a steady source of energy. That's where whole grains come in. Foods like oats, barley, and brown rice provide complex carbohydrates fuel that is released slowly into the bloodstream. Unlike quick sugars that spike and crash, whole grains provide a steady, consistent supply of energy. And that consistency supports focus. It helps maintain attention, prevents mental fatigue, and keeps the mind functioning throughout the day. Whole grains also contain fiber, B vitamins, and other nutrients that contribute to overall brain health. In traditional diets, grains were a foundation, not refined, not stripped down, but whole, complete, and sustaining, prepared simply, eaten regularly. Because the brain doesn't just need stimulation, it needs stability. And whole grains provide exactly that, a steady source of fuel that keeps the mind going, clear, focused, and strong. And when you step back and look at all of this, one thing becomes clear. These aren't rare ingredients. They're not complicated formulas or lab-made solutions. They're simple foods: fish, fruits, seeds, greens, oils, and grains. The kind of nourishment that has always been here, supporting the body and the mind the way it was designed to. And maybe that's the reminder in all of this, that clarity, focus, and mental strength don't always come from something new. Sometimes they come from going back to what's natural. If you're drawn to simple nutrition, natural health, and rediscovering the power of real food, make sure to subscribe to Biblical Roots, turn on the notification bell, and join us for more content like this. And before you go, let me know in the comments, which of these brain-boosting foods are you already eating, and which one are you ready to add next? Until next time, stay rooted, stay sharp, and stay nourished.